morning, good evening. Welcome to this week's live chat where we're going to talk about YouTube, about live streaming, about all the things. I've just realized that I've actually got my other hand of Fiberific dropping all my auto links. I thought I did change it, but it didn't take the change, so I'm not going to mess around with it. But just know Fiberific is actually me as well. Now you may, if you saw earlier in the week and in Doug's live stream today, was going to have special speaker Andrew Ken. Unfortunately, there was a snafu, there was a miscommunication about days, and he actually was not available today. So that's on me. I should have been clearer about, like I should have been clearer, and you know, we're gonna try for another week. So we'll see how it goes. I thank you so much to Doug for dropping the list. Let's have a look through here. Livestream Consultants was first cab off the rank. Hello, how are you going? That thing is set up, just so you know. A little crafty nook, so good you could jump in. Good to see you. Good to see you. Doug is in the house. Thanks, Doug. Let's have a look. I'm half awake and that looked like idiot. Oh. Oh gosh, that is actually funny. It's like that ID10T era. Oh my gosh. Yes. No, I get it. I get it. Definitely. I see it. I see it. Especially if you don't have your glasses on. Right? I totally see it. I might have to look into that and maybe change it from, like, still have it bring up the do it, but save it for something out. But yeah, so you know, I don't have Andrew today, and we were going to be talking about some of the stuff that was happening with YouTube and live stream. Oh, also, if you can hear like a whirring noise, it's because it's gotten warm here, and I've actually got the fan on. I actually unplugged my heater and set up my fan. I'm just checking what the temperature is. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Currently feels like 25 degrees. We are due to aim for a high of 32. So that sounds exciting. I don't know what that is in American, but for everyone else, 32 is hot, especially for spring. Yes. So yeah. What do you want to talk about? I was like all geared to do this thing. I was all geared, and now it's not happening. Did you like that one, little crafty nook? That one's a bit of fun, isn't it? So one thing I want to do for myself is I really was thinking about it this week. I was in the Ecamm group and someone was asking a question about something that the Ecamm software could do. And I was just like, I had no idea it could do that. So one of the things that I want to do over between this week and next week is develop a new scene. I've been using pretty much the exact same scenes, the exact same things. Now in my streams, it's a bit like that. But now for some time, I get comfortable, right? I get comfortable and I don't change things up because I'm like, meh, it works. So, you know, I don't, but I've realized that I could make things so much more fun and so much more dynamic. So over the last week, I did a new screen for over on the Fiberific live stream because we've started showing off everybody's makes if they tag a particular tag over on our Fiberific Discord. Then during the live stream, I will, if I've got time, I'll go in and grab that and show them. So I was able to create, I'm just going to make sure I've got something open here that's just, you know, mine. And let me just see if did I add it in for here as well? No, I did not. So let me just, that's the old iPhone share screen. Let me go and grab the Fiberific one that I made for the Fiberific streams. If I was here, there it is. There it goes. So I made this one for the Fiberific streams. Now the catch is, which I've just realized what the catch is. Like, where's my cord? I have to be plugged in, right? So once I'm plugged in, in theory, there we go. Can show. Oh, what happened there? Did my little cord jangle? Worked for a second and stopped. Add a camera source. There it is. Okay. I don't know. All I did was jiggle the cord, really, to make it work. Maybe I've got a dodgy cord. So I've created a little scene here where I can show you what's on my phone screen. So it means I can go into the Discord. I can show things that's happening. So I've just got my phone. Oh, it is the cord. I think I've got a janky cord. Use a better cord than me. I've not had a problem with it before. Maybe because I usually just keep it on there. And therefore I'm not touching the cord. What is going on with the cord? Unplug. Plug back in. Give it a little second. Yeah, it's a bit of a squirrel moment, isn't it? There we go. All right, I'm going to try not to touch the cord, okay? Don't touch the cord. Get a better cord. I'm going to get a better cord. So I will. Oh, Doug uses the NDI for his, so it's cordless. I'm going to have to look into that because I do find it a bit cumbersome making sure I have to have the cord because I use the, what is it? When it grabs the camera, it's not NDI for that, is it? It's something else. It's camera something or other. I'm still learning all this stuff, right? So I'm learning how to connect my still fairly new to me iPhone to my computer. So I'm still learning all the things. But basically what I did was I ran in and grabbed the outline I got from Canva. So the little fake camera, I got that fake phone thing. I got that from Canva. Made sure it had a transparent background, and then I just kind of tweaked in the phone shape to fit inside of it. And that's basically all I did. So, and that just means that I can sort of go in and I can, you know, show things here like, oh, look at my cute chair. Isn't my chair awesome? You know, when I zoom in, you can see my Secret Lab chair, you know, so it makes it so that that's just something a little bit extra. So I did, while I was faffing around, I did miss some stuff here. So Stanley Orchard is in the house. We're sitting through a balmy 32 here right now, loving fall weather. Is that 32 Fahrenheit or Celsiuses? 32 Fahrenheit sounds a bit cold to me, but if it's 32 Celsius, yeah, because it's spring here for us. So we basically go winter where I complain about the cold, complain about the cold, and then we have like a week or two where I'm like, this is lovely, and then boom, now it's time to complain about the heat. So buckle in, because this particular office has no air conditioning, and when my family are home like they are today, I have to close the door. So I'm in I'm in a little oven. I'm in a little brick oven. So I will get warm. So good to see you, Stanley. Thanks for jumping in. Sarah Dawn's Design is here as well. So great to see you. Thank you, Stanley. Stanley, did you share my stream? Thank you so much. Stanley says, yeah, that's 32C at 6 p.m. It gets a little tepid down here. Yes. So, because I don't know where you are, honestly. I assumed you're in Cali, but I actually don't know. So I don't need this screen anymore. But this was, sorry, sidetrack. This was the latest setup I made for over on Fiberific. But other than that, I hadn't really done a lot to freshen up the stream. You know, I'd done changed the lighting. I, made some set changes. But I hadn't really done anything scene-wise. And one of the things that I do love about Ecamm is how good it is and how easy it is to make different things with the technology. So if you don't have a physical setup like I do, you've got options, so I love that. Now, what am I trying to do here? I don't even know. What day is it? Look, I'm just gonna have some coffee, all right? It's 9 o'clock in the morning, all right? I need more coffee. Oh, you're in South Texas, which is like a mini American Australia. Okay, yeah, I did notice that when I went to Texas last year, everyone was warning me about the weather, like it's gonna be this. I got off the plane, And I'm not kidding, it was nearly the identical weather that I was having in Australia at that exact moment. So we were having an unseasonably hot spring. And so I was already climatized. So basically jumped on the plane, got off the plane, it was exactly the same. And got off the plane and I was just like, oh, okay, I don't need that jumper that I brought because I was warned. Little Crafty Nook says, I love the colors though because they match my brand. I love the colors. So one of the things is I saw someone posting about, who was it? And I can't even remember which platform it was. They were asking about being able to change up their studio, or what you need to do to change up your studio so that you're comfortable to work in it. And one of the big things for me is color, right? And lights. I like the lights. The lights are fun. Sorry, and I've got glasses glare, and it's not from my actual camera lights, it's from the window being open. But one of the things I love is color. And when I had my shack, it was basically a grey box, and it was not the nice grey. Like, I love grey. It was not a nice grey. It was bad, okay? And so I bought that backdrop setting for when I had the box. So basically that is I got it off eBay. You could probably get it off Amazon. I think I spent about 20 or 30 bucks. I've got two of them there and I've had to stick them together because it didn't quite have the length to get to the floor. Probably doesn't need the second one in here because of the shelving unit and stuff would probably block it. But I like the weight that it holds it down. And it's just this thin fabric. It's a photographic backdrop. And I've just literally got it painter's taped and gaffed to my wall. That's it. There's nothing flash there. And when I moved into this room, that wall there is like a really pale baby blue, right? You can just, oh, you can't see the baby blue. Like, you can see where the edge of the painter's thing goes, but you can't see the color because it's getting the wash of the it's getting the wash of the pink. So I had to sort of think of a way, like I was sort of sitting in here and this other wall is this sort of khaki color and I'm just like, nah, not really. Like seriously, who thinks khaki and baby blue work together? Like, seriously, like that for a start. This room is probably the only room left in the house. So this one, our bedroom, which funnily enough is painted in the same colors, and the laundry are the only rooms in the house we haven't repainted. We've repainted all the other rooms in the house, but just not these three. And so I was like, well, I don't want to paint. I can't handle the smell of paint. So I just grabbed the thing and stuck it back up. And something inexpensive, simple. And if you're a renter, like in Australia, if you rent, you are not allowed to paint the walls. I hear that in the US, if you're a renter, you're allowed to paint the walls. I sort of sit there and think, man, we're not even allowed to hang picture hooks on our walls. So like, I was like, you're allowed to paint? But yeah, so this is a really great way that if you don't have a lot of time or a huge budget, that you can just sort of elevate things a little bit with something as simple as a backdrop. And there's a lot of choices. There's a lot of choice out there. The other option is going green screen, utilizing green screen and going that way. I personally don't have much success with green screen. I've got wispy hair, right? And it doesn't work that great with green screen, let me be honest. Also, I have a green chair, so I'd have to go blue screen. But for me, it feels like another possible breaking point. So what happens if, for whatever reason, you can't get your green screen to work? Does that mean you don't get to stream because of whatever it is that you really do have behind you? I personally think the blurry thing, you know, that image background blur, I personally think that works better than green screen, or at least it does for me. But again, it's going to depend on what you've got going on in the background. So I'm really lucky, and I understand how lucky I am having this dedicated space. And I know not everybody has that. So I'm able to stick a thing on the wall and make it go that way. So I don't know, let me know in the chat, how have you got your video recording setup worked out for if you record in a single place. Like I know, Stanley, you're out fishing, you're out in the water recording, so I'd be shocked if you're green screening. Livestream consultant says you might not like southern Mexico as it's hotter, more like central Australia during the summer, and down to 0 during the cooler winter. Yeah, I don't know. I look, it's, how do I put this? There are a lot of places that I would still visit no matter what their temperatures. Unless there's snow. I'm a bit funny about ice. And it's not that I don't like snow. I think snow would be beautiful. But I've got busted up legs and I would like to be able to stay walking and not on my bottom. And if I slip, my knee dislocates. So I don't want that. I know it sounds a bit bizarre, but that's not something I want. But anywhere else, as long as I've got a bit of sure footing, I am a happy camper. I will go forth and do the things. Now, Doug, I'm going to have to pick your brains about the NDI because that would mean I would have a spare spot on my hub that I don't have to plug my phone into, which would make me do a little dance. Speaking of hubs, let me just jump over here. Did anybody see that Rode have released a new product? And it's one of these things where let me just, here we go. I can screen share. Screen share. Where is my screen share button? There it is. Oh, I'm down the bottom here. Oops, Command C. You go back. I want to move this one up. I don't like being down the bottom. So Rode have released a new product and I have bought it. Like, I just want to get that out there. It is on its way. And it is a new hub. Now, I currently can't bring it and show you, but I currently use an OWC hub, which I love. And I think it's fantastic. It's got the high speed. You can actually daisy chain through it to add more hubs. So therefore, I have. So let me know in the chat how many connections you have connected to your computer for your live streams or your production. I have a lot. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 9 things plugged in just into hubs into the computer. And then there's the things that are already plugged into the computer, like HDMI, display port, Rode, cam link, microphone. No, that microphone goes to Rode. What do you go to? Oh, webcam, second webcam. So, you know, I've got a lot of things and I was seriously contemplating buying a second OWC hub to get rid of some of these extra little Ugreen hubs that I've got. Now, I love the little Ugreen hubs and I actually want to stick them into my laptop bag, or at least one of them into my laptop bag, because I like to have, I've got like a lav mic in my laptop bag. I've currently got a different hub, which is not as good. And I want to put one of these better hubs in there, but I need them. They're part of my daily setup. I use them all the time. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to buy another OWC hub. And then the Rode hub came out. And what's really funny about the Rode hub is a few years ago, I got sent a survey by Rode. And it was like, if we made a hub, what would you want in it? And then the next thing that they released after that, which it was a couple of years later, was the Rode, the streamer, sort of Streamer X, and all those sorts of things. So I thought, oh, well, they decided not to go with the hubs because they've gone with this streamer setup where you can plug your phone, your microphone and your cameras into the little mini Streamer X thing. And I thought, oh, well, that's never going to happen. So then I saw this and it was like exactly what I wanted. So how much am I paying? How much was the OWC? I think I'm just, oh, look, I can just show you. So the OWC, I don't buy it from Ram City. Where did I buy it from? MacFixit. That's not it. But anyway, so the one that I've got is about 250, 260 that I've got, right? But it only has 4 USB-C and 1 USB-A. Now this one is 260 Australian, so similar money, but I get 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 USB-C, a USB-A, and data transfer cards. Now apparently you can use both of these at the same time. I personally record into my computer, so that's not a biggie for me. So let me just double check. For some reason I thought it was more. There's 6 USB-C high-speed data transfers up to 10 gigabits per second and pass-through charging of 60 watts, which is quite similar specs of the 10 gigabits per second and the 60 watt transfer speeds. That's very similar to the OWC. But being able to have the extra ports for the same sort of money, I will be very, very happy about. So I've got one coming. It's been shipped. It's on its way. So I'm very curious to show it. So what have we got here? We've got 6 USB-Cs, a USB power, a USB-A connection, it's USB-A 3, SD and SD micro readers, and 100 watts of charging. Oh, and here we go. This was the bit that I thought was interesting. Like, yeah, that's cool there, but can this be used with an iPad or a mobile device? And the answer is yes. And is the hub backwards compatible? It should be. Most things are, but yes, it is as well. So I was like really excited about that. So I will show that to you guys when it arrives. Let's have a look here. Live stream. Let me just jump back to main camera. I had to purchase a 10-foot by 16-foot shed I am setting up with high ceilings for lights. I'm just trying to think. My shack was 3 meters by 6 meters. So I don't know what that is in the feet. So I think it's about 9 or 10 feet by, I think we've got about 3 foot to a meter. So yeah. Live stream consult says Rode also has Rode Capture app for iOS that allows you to do an across the table interview using the front and back camera at the same time with a wireless dual mic. They do, but I'm under the impression you have to use their mic. Am I wrong? Because I haven't installed it because I bought Holyland, and I'm kind of like, I'm in this position where I'm like, oh, you've moved. Did I make the wrong choice? And not just continuing on with my Rode journey, because the Holyland is great and I really like it, and I love all the adaptability with it, and I love that you can actually just pop it on as a necklace. You don't have to magnetize it to your clothes. So like for men, it's fine. You can just actually pop it in the lapel, and most men's lapels are pretty strong. But for women, when we're wearing like flowier things that are stretchy, you add a mic to that and it's like stretched out of shape or whatever. So being able to attach it with the little necklace band makes it a lot easier. And especially if you need to switch people in and out, you can just pull it off and the next person can put it on, kind of thing. So there was a lot of things I really liked about the Holyland, but like I've got to use the adapter to connect it to my Rodecaster, which I haven't really done because that's not what I bought it for. But like I have to add all these extra steps to utilize these different softwares. So I'm like, did I do the right thing? I don't know, but I made my choice and now I've got to, lie with it. SMA Sky says, I've only got about 5 USB things, HDMI to USB, the telescope control, second camera, mic, wireless mic, not very many. So I am like looking around, and I mean, I've got like a printer for my printer labels. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras, 1 audio input. I've got 2 phones that get connected via cord. One is an old phone, so it doesn't have access to NDI. That's the Louis Cam phone. Then this one, and if I can work out how to do this without a cord, I'm in. Because obviously, I've never actually had a problem with that cord before today. I've used it for fiber effect for a couple of weeks now. No issues. Today there's an issue, so I'm not quite sure what that is. Oh, and then I use, I don't know if you can see it. I have SSDs hanging off the computer. I've got a couple of those for different projects. So, Yeah, so because like I like Mac to a degree. Like, don't get too excited. I like Mac to a degree, but I do not like how much they charge for memory. I do not like that I basically have to spend double the price on a Mac Mini to get a Mac Mini with decent memory. So I don't. I buy like I buy the 512. So I notch it up one, and then I hang off SSDs. I have been looking at a different style of SSD. Lila did a video on it. I'm not sure how old the video is, but it's a different brand. It's still a good brand, but you can actually magnetically put it in this magnetic case, and you can actually just sort of boop it onto the back of your laptop screen. So you've got the connected cord going around, and it's not even sitting on the desk next to you. It's like it's magnetized to the back of your laptop screen. So I say magnetized. I'm assuming it's magnet. It's using the MagSafe thing. So yeah, I'm like looking at that, thinking I like that idea. I think the price on that was, I was looking at a 1 terabyte one. It was a couple of $100. So I was like, that's not bad. That's not bad. Oh, Livestream Consultant said I tried it with 2 different wireless non-Rode mics and it works with both. Oh, mate, hang on. Rode is what was the software again? Are we talking the iPhone Rode Connect? I'm gonna play with that and check that out, because that's something that I was a bit miffy about. I was like, no, I don't get to have that thing now. That looked so cool. Rode Capture. Because it looks really good. Like being able to put your phone on a tripod and have it grabbing both cameras, so you can like, I loved it. I thought it was great. Doug says, I know you can use the internal mic with the Rode Capture. There you go. Oh my gosh. I wonder how much work it'd take to be able to get one of those wireless labs and a 3D printed TNG. Do you know what? Hang on a second. There's the Holyland bag. Come here, you. I'm just having to think about how big the Holyland ones are. That's the lab for the wireless lab for the Holyland. So it's a magnet for attaching it inside your clothes. So that's it. So you could probably, as long as you made a thick communicator badge. We have a ruler. Boom. About 1 centimeter. So what is that? That's, I don't know what that is in inches. So it looks like it's right on 1 centimeter. So if you include this secondary lip, it's right on 1 centimeter. I just realized I've left a little sticky stick there. Yeah, I reckon that's absolutely doable. And are there other smaller ones than this? Like, because I think the Holyland's pretty small. It's pretty light. Look, welcome to a crafter stream space. I have scales. Oh dear. The catch is it's magnetized, so I don't know if it's going to zero that off. It's 7.5 grams and it is 10 mils thick, or 1 centimeter. So there you go. I think you could swing that. Be a bit of a chunky communicator badge, or you could have it thin at the top and chunky at the bottom, and then you could actually utilize the Holyland thing to attach the communicator badge. Hang on, flip that around to attach the communicator badge. So if you make like the triangle, I'm thinking way too much about this. Do the triangle, the thin bit at the top, and then stick this towards the back at the bottom. And then have this it could totally work. You could totally do it. And I want to see photos of it. I want to see it in action. I need information now. I need information. Let's have a look here. Decase it. I don't even know if you'd need to decase it. I really don't. I don't know if you would need to. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's going to depend on what kind of audio you get with the rest of the thing. So you would want it to lean out a little bit so that the audio comes through into it. Anyway, I think it could be fun. Esme says, now I have a project to throw on my list of projects I might not get to, but that would be really neat. I agree with you. I think that would be super, super fun. Yeah, I think it would be a lot of fun. And especially like if you're at a Star Trek convention or something and you wanted to interview people and just have like, you know, be able to have like past people a communicator and just go pop that on. And they can sit there talking to you and then they can just hand it to you at the end. Or use the Holyland mic as the magnet on the inside of your clothes and the TNG badge would be the metal holding it. Yeah, I don't know. And because you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. That is truly an option. Because quite often lav mics are put on the inside of clothing to stop them from being visible and rustling. And as long as the material's not rubbing on the mic area, it should totally be fine. That could totally work. That could totally work. So which is, now I've got to check, which is the magnetic bit? Is that... Okay, my water bottle is not magnetic. Let me just... That's not magnetic. I don't know. I've got nothing magnetic around me. My Holyland needs a charge. What do you use? USB-C. I might as well just shove that in there. Everything's flashing yellowy red warnings at me. That would be so fun, honestly. That's a task. That's a task that needs some work. And yeah. Doug says, I have a TNG Bluetooth communicator. Why am I not surprised, Doug? Like, if anyone's going to have it, it's going to be you. Doug is a hardcore Next Generation fan. It sounds so fun. Hey, Davidson's All Natural Jim, great to see you. If you could design a lightweight attachment for the mic, you could print them with the custom YouTube logos. You could do, you're right. Basically, the sky is the limit. This thing being so light, 7.5 grams, you could do pretty much anything you wanted with it. I mean, the other thing is, let me just grab this. You could even just, like, create a sticker to put over it. Because it actually comes with stickers. So if you really want that, oops, they come with a pile of stickers. You could redesign the stickers and just put the stickers over it. I personally haven't used any of the stickers. There's some white ones and some black ones. So if you don't want the logo showing, you can totally do that. But you could redesign these stickers and put your YouTube logo directly on it. And it's or your channel logo or anything like that. You could totally just... It's mostly a round sticker with a little notch cut out of it. So yeah, and just use removable stickers. For sure, that's another great option. Get back in there. Which way have you got to go? That way. You do have to go that way. Okay. Keep charging over there quietly. Get back in the bag. You with all your stickers. Yeah, that's one of the big advantages. I bought the Holyland. You could, oh man, we could do anything. If you like, let me know in the chat. Does anybody else consider 3D printers basically this generation's, oh my gosh, my brain's totally forgotten what they're called. Replicators. No, replicators? Yes. I've been watching, it's my brain's confused. I've been watching Stargate and we're just up to the episodes with the replicators. So my brain's like, no, replicators are wrong. But yeah. If you had a 3D printer, I know. But yeah, so there's a lot of things about these that I love, right? I'm just pulling out all my bits and bobs here. You can connect it to your phone easily. Boom, done. You can put on your little, you know, could wear them as eyebrows if you really want, but you could have your little dead cats. You've got lots of extra cables and cords for charging, connecting to different devices. But this here is one of my favorite parts. Like, is the options that they give you for wearability, right? So there's the little tiny magnets that you saw on the back of those that I was showing you, because that's where I keep them stored. But there's also these clips. So if you're a clip it to a hat person, there's clips of both. So there's two of everything. But there's also these adjustable necklaces, which have the magnetic thing on it. So you can just flip it over your head, easy done. I love all the options. I love having options. Options are great. Hang on a second. With the sticker, the Holy Land is hard to charge back in the case. Oh, is it? Oh, because I don't have any stickers on there. I didn't. You would think they would think of that, considering they supply stickers. That's frustrating. Yeah, sell them to every YouTube channel. Absolutely. I thought about making a radio style flag that I could put my logo on. I got a 3D printer from my sister-in-law, running low on filament. Well, the flags can technically be made out of cardboard, right? You just print them and you just box them out and make with good quality cardboard. Let me just feel, you could totally Cricut stickers. This feels, I'm just having a feel here. This feels thinner than the removable Cricut stuff, the removable Cricut. My brain is not giving me the words. Anyway, so the sticky stuff that you can actually peel off and remove, vinyl, the removable vinyl. Thank you, brain, finally, for giving me the word. But it might also be a bit more pliable, so you may be able to fix it out. So yeah, I don't know. My Cricut is being a bum, and I have to, I need to change its rollers, except there is no clear path for roller changing. You literally have to spend hours pulling your machine apart, which voids its warranty, which technically mine's out of warranty. But hours of work, piles of tools, because there is no easy way to change a rubber piece, which makes me grumpy. That basically makes a $600 device that you have to spend hundreds of dollars more on tools, like as in all the little cutting tools and stuff, and mats, because I've got the old one where you have to have mats. And then you can't replace the $5 rubber parts when they wear it. And I'm in Queensland. Rubber does not last here. So my now 4 or 5 year old machine is currently unusable. So I'm a bit annoyed about that, because I love my Cricut. I used to use it a lot, and now I'm not using it all. Yeah, 3D printers have gotten a lot better in price. Absolutely. I've got a friend who's got one, and I constantly send her stuff. She's like, have you considered getting yourself a 3D printer? And I'm just like, do you not think that if I had one, it would be dangerous? I would just print all of the things, all of the time. Be like, yes. I find all these really cool little things, useful little tools. SMA Sky says, I've always wanted to get a Cricut. I worked at a high school and we had a large format version. I would look at the Brother Scan and Cut. If I was going to go back now, I would actually either look at a Silhouette or a Brother Scan and Cut rather than the Cricut brand version. They're all vinyl cutters. They're just different brands, but they are I know for a fact the Brother are serviceable by the companies that service the Brother sewing machines. The Cricuts have no servicing options. There is nowhere. So yeah, there is, at least local to me, there is no one I can go to. So yeah, frustrated. I would go all in and have to hand fabricate a plug to create a mold to be able to cast a piece out of molten metal, just because I could just be different. The other thing I look at is glow forges. Like I don't have the space for one, but again, I would make lots of things. It's probably good that I don't have the space for a glow forge, or $10,000 Australian. That's like how much they cost here. Oh, wow. Yours did the copper and stuff like that. That sounds amazing. Yeah, I agree. They do need Cricut stores like Genius Bars. I 100% agree with that. Absolutely. When the shed is done, you'll have a dedicated spot for a 3D printer. Fantastic. Yeah, I agree, Doug. It sucks. It's awful. You may need to Google Glowforge. Oh, it cuts like wood. You can cut out all sorts of things. I've got friends in the crafting world who use, I'm just looking around. I'm like, do I have any stitch markers handy? I do. Here we go. They are making things like this with their laser with their glow forges and their cutters. So it's wood and it laser etches in an image and cuts it out. You can do the wood. I think you can do the vinyl, like the 3mm thick plastic acrylic. Like there's yeah. You need to look in bad. It's very bad. Very bad. Room for a brother scan and cut. Look, you know what? If you've got room for a Cricut, you've got room for a brother scan and cut. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'd love to try metal casting. Metal casting sounds fun. Do you know? Yeah. No, a glow forge is not like a standard forge. It's just the brand name of something, of a laser cutter. It's a bit different. It's not a forge. Leah Nicole, great to see you in the chat here. So I watched a video on moderator settings. Am I able to change to standard moderator myself? I am a moderator on a channel and it won't let me make comments on their shorts now. No, you can't change your own moderator settings on someone else's channel. They need to do that for you. But the other thing is, Doug and I have had this discussion as well. Doug's here. As far as I'm concerned, Doug is the top YouTube moderator out there. We both had the same problem with not being able to moderate in shorts anymore. And it is an issue and it's been flagged with YouTube, but I don't know what's going on there, but it is an issue and a lot of people are having it. So you are not alone in not being able to moderate in someone's shorts anymore. So, yeah, unfortunately. Let's have a look here. You don't have room for a Cricut either? No, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, Doug says that's a known issue for mods on channels for some time. Yeah. Yeah. Xcarve, I think, now has a laser cutter welder CNC thing. Yeah. And that's the thing. And that's what the Glowforge is. It's like all of those things as well. I agree. I think they should allow you to opt out of moderating. Like Doug and I were asked a little while back, it's got to be at least a year ago now, our wish list of moderator tools. And one of them was to be able to see the channels like that you are moderated on. So if you log into the back end of YouTube, you can just look and see a list of channels that you're moderated on. And we would love to be able to remove ourselves from being moderators on people's channels, because a lot of people make us mods and it's just like, I would like to not be attached to some of the channels that people have made me mods on, because I don't know what, like we all know the back end connections between people's channels usually have some sort of meaning. Does it mean something when someone makes you a moderator? Like, what does that do? I don't know. Stanley says, yeah, even I've seen that issue. I didn't realize it was a mod thing. Yeah, it's a frustration thing. No, that's right. You have done nothing wrong. You've done nothing wrong. There's nothing you could have done to make it happen or make it not happen. It is a YouTube issue. Okay, so just know that, Nicole. Leah, sorry. My brain clicked onto your surname rather than your first name. Just, yeah, you've done nothing wrong. And I agree. The shorts are what needs the mods. I agree with you. The comment. Now, like an option that the channel owner has is that they could possibly give you, if you are a trusted mod, and this is a big step, but they could give you like editor access to their YouTube channel, which means you can go into the back end and edit the comments through YouTube Studio. But that's a pretty big step. That's a pretty big step there. Yeah, Doug, I agree with you. Let's send some more feedback on that one. And also, the other thing to remember is if you are having these problems yourself, please use the YouTube feedback form. Please tag Team YouTube on Twitter for these things, because I think that more people that complain about something, the more they realize it affects more than just one person. And so there's so many little fires to put out all the time. They're going to put out the fires that are the biggest first. So, yeah. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Being able to see the channels that we're modded on and whether you're a standard mod or a managing mod. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd love to see that. Sarah says, I'd be able to leave my sewing machine set up permanent. Oh, and hang on. This is why I have a wish list to move. My studio is currently my bedroom. Shakes fist at the Toronto apartment policy pricing. I'd love to have a dedicated craft room. See, this is technically also my craft room, which is why this space, it's my YouTube studio for my fiberific business as well. So we do have some yarn things in here as well. But from here that way, which I'm not showing you because it's an absolute mess. I've been pulling things out, so it's worse than usual, is where my craft storage is. So I've got like Calax full of yarn and, you know, like my crickets there. And I want somewhere I can permanently put even my small sewing machine, because I've got a smaller sewing machine and I've got a large quilting machine. And I understand I can't always have my large quilting machine everywhere I want. And one of the issues I had was different things that'll make your table shake. My new sewing machine doesn't do it. So it could work on that little table. SMA Sky says it feels strange when people add everyone in their chat as a mod. Those people have no idea what they're doing. People who reward viewers by making them a mod have no idea what they're doing. Do they know that moderators don't just affect a live stream? A moderator can go into your YouTube comments area of a video and delete comments from there as well. Did they know that? And if they're making people managing moderators, I don't know if it's a glitch or not, but they can go into either a replay or into a VOD video and they can make other moderators. It beggars belief, the people that go in and make everyone a moderator. You should only make someone a moderator if they are a trusted member of your community, or if you are hiring a moderator and that person has a good reputation. They're the only people that should be being made moderators. You have to have trust in these people, whether it's personal trust or professional trust. There has to be trust. Oh, this is something that really, really ticks me off. And you'll get these. I mean, like in my brain, I call them mod bros, like the mod bros. Like, don't worry, bro, I'll make you a mod. The mod bros that just come in and just mod up everybody have no concept of what they're doing to their channels. They literally have no concept of what they're doing, and they think that they're making everybody happy, but they're really opening them up to trouble. They really are. Oh, it's just, I need to add that to my list of things that tick me off. I know I felt passionately about that one. Thank you, Russell and Livestream Consultants, but it did work for, triggering those. Oh my gosh. Let's have a look here. I have a few friends that have almost everyone in their chat as mod, not realizing the potential issues that could rise. Now, there are instances where the chat might be quiet and you may have a handful of mods and they may be the only people watching. So yes, everyone will be wrenched. That's a different situation than if it's like, oh, hey, thanks for commenting. You're a mod now. Random stranger who's never watched my stream before, ever. Doug says it here, you have to have a level of trust to appoint moderators on your channel. Absolutely. Sarah says, yes, I'm really, really picky about who I make a mod because I also want them to be on the same wavelength as me as to what's allowed in terms of comments. Now, we've said this here before, and I'm going to say it again now. If you have no way to contact your mods, you should be making a mod list. So a Google Doc with links that you're happy for them to share with your, say, top 5 things, like your community rules, things that you do allow, things that you don't allow, so that everybody is on the same page. If your mods are not on the same page as you, they are creating a different feeling in the live chat than what you want. They can change the tone of a live chat by either leaving in comments that you would like removed or removing comments that you would like left in. Now, obviously mistakes happen, but when it's a regular thing. Stanley says, yeah, if I don't have your actual phone number, you probably aren't modding for me. Oh, thanks, Stanley. Cool. That's cool. I don't have your phone number. It's fine. Yeah, it did work. It worked. Yeah. Oh, live stream consultants. I know what you're talking about. I have seen them. I've been in chats where I've thought maybe this is just how many mods they've got. And then they modded me and I'm just like, I was just swinging pie and just said, hi, this is bad. And I leave those chats. Russell's jumped in. He's just popping in for a few minutes to say hi, working feverishly on his live launch, going off on Wednesday. Good luck, Russell. I hope it goes without any glitches and lots of people are happy. And I want it to work for you. I want it to be so good. Sarah says, I have an IRL friend I actually want to ask to mod both YouTube and Discord. I just haven't gotten around to asking her. You should absolutely ask her. SMA Sky's got to head out. Thanks so much for jumping in. Totally appreciate your time. Does Amazon sell a mod with? How do you keep them in line? Like, this is the thing, right? and I know you're joking here, but if you don't have any kinds of guidelines for your mods, then you shouldn't expect to be able to keep them in line. You've not given them a line to keep. So you need to be giving them the tools to do what you want them to do. If you don't give them those tools, if you don't give them those guidelines and then they go and do whatever the heck they want, then that's actually on you. So you got to give them a line to toe. Oh, 100 have signed up so far. That is so good. I am so happy about that. Stanley said, oh, lol, I have means of contacting you and you come with high level backing. I would be honored to have you. Oh, thanks, Stanley. Russell says, how much should you pay mods? It depends. It's such a big, it depends, honestly. Sometimes access is enough. So access to the streamer. So if like for example, say that person sells a service, like a digital service or a webinar or something that they would normally charge for, if they give that to you, that's technically something. If it's somebody who you're just helping out and they're a mate, then that's different again. You don't need to pay them. But if you want professional level moderating in your, say, business streams, things like that, you need to look at that as you are paying for someone's skills and services. So it's gonna come down to it depends, because some people feel that mods shouldn't be paid, and I think those people can go over there and sit in that hole and pull a rock over their head. I think mods absolutely need some form of compensation, and it doesn't have to be cash money. Cash money is nice. Cash money keeps the lights on, but it doesn't have to be cash money. So Doug says perks go a long way, because it is a big time commitment, especially if it's somebody who's a regular streamer who does long streams and you need to adjust your calendar to attend and to be reliable and say no to other things because you're going to be doing this thing. If you want them to prioritize your stream above other things in their life, you need to look at what you would expect for that. but yeah, it like, and Sarah Dawn, if you're a knitwear designer and you're getting knitters in, you could give them free copies or free access to your patterns. You know, it doesn't have to be something that actually costs you money, but it gives them access to it. Sarah said, I didn't pay my Twitch mods, but I do give them the same benefits of some of my Patreons get. Look, my mods get the same access as my channel members get, absolutely. As well as every now and again, I'll send out some gift cards. I will jump on and chat. I work out what each of them individually would appreciate and try to give that to them. So that's what I do in those instances. So I you know, every channel is a little bit different on how they do and don't treat their mods. The channels that I take issue with are those that ask you to be a mod, then get annoyed at you if you can't turn up to something, but also don't give you any form of perk. There's no access, there's no conversation, there's no, hey, what do you think about this? There's no back and forth at all. But if you don't turn up to their live stream, then they're angry at you and you're unprofessional. And you're just like, I personally haven't had that happen to me, but I've heard it happening to other people. And you're just like, if you want them to treat modding your streams as a pro gig, you need to treat them like they're offering you a pro gig service. So it comes down to your mindset on your live streams, I think is a big part of it. And what level of modding are they doing? Are they just in there kicking out trolls and watching out for bad words, or are they actually helping your community? Like, you've got to look at different things as well. And sometimes, like, do you really need a mod, or do you need a better block words list? I personally think everyone needs one mod, and not just for a mod, but you know, someone in that audience has your back. So if you're not focusing on the chat, or if the chat's moving quite quickly and you're doing something, someone in there has your back and they are on your side and they know what you do and do not accept and expect out of your audience, and they can help them, you know, help that audience do it. Then I saw there was a lady who came in and was asking for some mod help in a chat. I can't remember whose Discord it was. It was someone's Discord. I went and watched her live stream and I cried. She had no mods, and because of what she was doing, she was unable to be near a keyboard, so she couldn't block and boot people. And she was attacked by, I think, just about everybody watching the live stream. The words that they were using, they should have all been in blocked words lists. The vitriol they were spewing would have meant instant block in any other chat that I was in, but she had no one who had her back in that chat. And I sent her, I said, look, I'm going to put together a document for you based on the words that I saw in that chat. This needs to be added to your block words list. And she was like, what's a block words list? And I was like, okay. So then I filled it in with a few more extra things, and I was like, this, and I told her where to go to put it in. And I don't know if it made a big difference. I think it would have made a huge difference personally, at least to the language being used in her chat. But I don't know. It was heartbreaking. The only reason I sat through the stream was so I could give her some good views and watch time from a person that wasn't there just to spew hate. Because the chat was disgusting. And I don't think anybody else would have sat through it. And I think that's the other thing to remember, is if you're like, oh, whatever, the chat can do whatever they want, then you have to think about your replay viewer seeing that as well. So yeah, it was awful. It was absolutely awful. I personally, if I had have seen what was coming up in the chat, I would have stopped what I was doing. I would have grabbed my keyboard and I would have just been adding block words list and booting people. I would have stopped what I'm doing. But she tried. She was a trooper. She was reading the chat and sort of going to start saying something and then stop. And you could see her face. She was getting more and more flustered and flushed because of the words that they were using. I would have stopped the stream. And eventually she did. She ended the stream. But she held on for a really long time. Like, I wouldn't have held on that long, but she did. Stanley says, oh, I agree. Mods are worthy. They're worth their weight and absolutely earn compensation. I think so. Yeah, yikes, if she can't even get to the keyboard in real time, she should be blocking words at the end of each stream. Absolutely. And I recommended that she disable the chat. Go and basically just turn off the live chat for the replay because it was bad. It was so bad. I've gotten on a video call with a few people to help them get things in order after the fact, so stuff like that does not happen again. That's right. Sarah says, I will allow a lot of things in chat, but if you start saying nasty things about someone, then no, I will boot you. Yeah, they were saying nasty things about the streamer. I haven't looked, but can you turn the chat off while you are live? Let me have a quick squizzy squiz in the settings here. It looks like I can. Currently I have it set to anybody. I can change it to subscribers, or I can change it to live commentary, which are approved users only, which I think includes moderators and anyone you add to the list. And your managing moderators can also change that for you as well. But you can't actually turn off the live chat. But if you have live commentary and then have no one in your approved user list, I think that would do that in essence. But you can change from anyone, subscribers. So basically, let me just screen share here. Screen share. What have I got? There we go. So basically, I just went into edit and then customization. And so you've got your options here. Participant modes is what you're looking for. So you can have anyone, subscribers, or live commentary, which is your approved users. I think that I do think the approved users includes moderators. I'm not 100% certain about that. I mean, we could test it. Should we test it? Should we click live commentary and see if Doug can comment? Is Doug around for us to run a test like this? I think Doug's the only mod I've got currently in the house. Yep. I think if Doug's okay with it, we can give it a quick test. So I'm liberal with the block button on social media in general. It saves me so much sanity. Oh, me too. All right, let's do it. I'm going to click the live commentary approved users button only and click save. All right, let's see. Live commentary mode is on. We are testing it. Let's see if anyone can comment. I'll give it like, a minute. Oh, Doug's in. Doug can comment. So mods can still comment. Check 1, 2. And I'm assuming no one else could. Doug, we could just have a conversation with just the two of us. So, yeah. Hey, Doug, how's it going? Have you got coffee? I've got coffee. All right, I think we've proved our point there. So let's go customization and then back to anyone and click save. So hopefully live commentary mode is off. Everyone can send messages. So let's see, everyone can jump in and go from there. So yeah. Sarah does have flails in the comments void. I love it. There we go. That's right. You couldn't send that's the thing. I don't think unless you're a moderator or an approved user, you can add approved. Like I could have gone in and added, I could go in and add Stanley as an approved user. So there's options to be able to add approved users. So I could hand select a few people who could continue to chat, but yeah, there's no chatting function available. So nothing that sends can go through. So, so that's a bit of a cool one. So if you're on the fly and you need to just tone it down, your subscribers are good, you could make it subscriber only. And you can set a time limit on that. So it's like, they have to have been a subscriber for a week or a day or something, but you can set it to a minute as well. So you've got all these different options of being able to change your subscriber, how long they have to have been a subscriber before they before they can comment when it's in subscriber only mode. So this is something that you can use. This is a tool that you've got access to. Now I believe that I don't have it on this channel, but on my Fiberific channel, there is now also a new feature from YouTube, which means you can actually, so in essence, end your stream for everybody who is a non-subscriber, a non-channel member. You can then go, okay, we're going to have our channel members only for the next 30 minutes. And then we'll see the rest of you next week. And then you can end the stream in essence for everybody who is not a channel member. And then the channel members get to stay on and have a bit of extra time for you. I have that over on my Fiberific channel, not here. So, so yeah, so I can't test it out here, but I spotted it in my settings last week. I was like, oh, should I play with it? I'm like, no, don't play with it. Don't play with it. Where does it show? It showed up in, when you go into edit. So edit, and then, let me think. So it was edit, then details customization. I think it was under customization. I'm going to have to double check for you, Doug. I just had a quick look at it and went, oh, new toy. And I was about to start live streaming, so I didn't dig into it too much. But you can actually do it while you are live. You can switch it. So you don't have to pre-plan it. You don't have to schedule it. You can literally just switch it. So that is, oh, you could, so you could still add, so David's All Natural Gym said he could still use live reactions. So even though he couldn't comment, he could still use the live reactions tool. Sarah says that YouTube taunted me with a chat box that I could not use. That's funny. SMA Sky says, ooh, that's one time a bunch of mods worked on the chat group for a live radio show. We had a bunch of trolls come in trying to cause trouble, so the channel owner turned it on. Yeah. Does YouTube still record it separately to be able to post it for members only later as a replay? That's a great question. I don't have the answer. I really don't. I'm going to write that down and I'm going to look into it a bit more, because that is a solid question. Command Shift 5. I might just cut and paste it. Boom. Escape. I have a problem with my mouse just randomly dropping stuff, and it ticks me off. And I actually have to move my keyboard totally out of the way. It's nearly like they annoy each other. They turned on commentary mode. Yeah, a bunch of us regular people in the chat mod, so we could still chat, but it got rid of the trolls. Absolutely, absolutely. And it's totally a tool that can be used. There's a lot of tools that aren't new. That have been around for a long time that we just don't understand or don't use or utilize to their best ability. And like the settings and the scenes that I've got set up for Ecamm, how I was saying, you know, I haven't really flexed in here much and played with some of their features, and it does what I want it to do, so I haven't really played anymore. We kind of do get into these little like, well, these are the tools that I use and these tools work, and don't really look any further into, hey, this other tool could be really cool if I used it in this way. Yeah. Let's have a look here. Oh, there's conversation happening between you guys. So yeah, so you know, it's a bit interesting. Some of the stuff that we can have. There are so many. Like, this is the thing. Like, we all saw, what was it, like 100 things drop from Made on YouTube. And originally I was looking at it going, oh, look, it's like when the government drops a new budget in Australia, and I go through everything and I'm like, yep, none of that helps me in any way whatsoever. Cool. Because I'm like, you know, middle class kind of thing. So none of the new cool tax bonuses for rich people affect me. None of the awesome stuff for like the poorer people affect me. I'm glad they all exist, don't get me wrong, but they don't actually affect me other than paying income tax. And I was like, oh, it's just like that, you know, like, oh, well, nothing there for me. But I'm actually finding as I dig into these things more like, you know what? I can use that. Not on this channel for some of it. And that's where I get frustrated. I was actually thinking the other day, like we haven't done a bit of a, here we go. We're going to go and have a little bit of a squizzy squiz of where we're at with our watch time goal. And because, you know, I've been having a week off here, a week off there because of work commitments and being sick and stuff like that, it has dropped back a little bit. So we'll see with it's happening. I'm creeping close, but just not there yet. So, and also the channel subscribers is increasing. So I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit the 1,000 subscribers before we hit the watch time goal to fan funding. Honestly, I would not be shocked. Let me know in the chat, which one do you think I'll get first? Do you think I'll hit fan funding first, or do you think I will hit like fan funding for viewers first, or the 1,000 subscribers first? So let me know in the chat. Let me have a look here. Just seeing if there's anything for me. Little Crafty Nook says, that would be me. I just don't understand. Yep. Stanley says, I'm excited about buying a bunch of ad integrations on smaller channels for fun. I've seen a few creators like, I'm going to do this. And I think it looks so exciting and so fun. And I also love that YouTube creators are now sponsoring other YouTube channels. Like I saw Linus doing it. They're sponsoring like smaller tech channels to test out their gear. Do you know what I mean? And so that was sort of the first sort of bigger instance I saw it. But then, you know, I'm seeing like these other channels are just sponsoring ad integrations, and you're just like, I love that this is happening, right? Because like, think about mainstream media, right? Like, you know, in Australia, like Channel 9. Channel 9 has ads for its own TV shows, right? Other shows. So they'll have the news on it, and they'll have an ad for like the show that's going to be on at 8:30 or whatever it is. To me, it kind of feels like that. It's a little bit more mainstream media, like this budget for this advertising is going in this slot to advertise people who are currently watching this content that's in no way related, or, you know, might be marginally related. I think I would go with marginally related if I was you. But like, not like, you know, different. It's different. And then sending them to this other thing. I think it's so cool. Little Crafty Nook says, where do we donate? Donate for what, Little Crafty Nook? I'm curious. SMA Sky says, I need to get on the ball and make some more shorts, and especially videos. Live streams aren't getting the watch time up. It drops off by about the same amount. I'm in the same. I agree with you. And this is a conversation that I constantly have. Like, there's a lot of people like, you know, how do I grow, you know, doing live streaming? And I'm sort of sitting here thinking, slowly. That's how you grow doing live streaming. Live streaming is important if you want to build a community. If you are trying to grow your audience, that's where you need VOD content. Now that VOD content, whether it's in short form or long form, you need the VOD content there to attract in the new people. And then once they're in and they sort of watch a couple of videos and they start to feel connected to you, they may start watching a live stream, and then they may become community, right? It's not impossible. I need to say that right now. It's not impossible, but it's very difficult and very slow going to grow a whole channel just on live streaming. She says, looking at her, you know, watch time. It's very slow going. And obviously it will depend on who you are, the kind of streams that you're doing, the kind of audience that you're attracting. All of these things matter. And they will all change the variables. But yeah, it's slow. It's a little bit slow. And as long as we understand that going in, you know, this is a long game. This is a long game. And as long as you know that, you'll be okay. Livestream Consultant says, oh, I have some interesting tidbit of info. If you are on Android, you cannot live stream from it in landscape mode, only portrait. Check iOS and you can do either. Go figure. I thought you could. You used to be able to. Is it a change that's happened? Because I know you have to change it before you go live. There's a setting where you got to dig in and you change it. It's like you change it and turn your phone and then set up your live stream. So you can't be setting up your live stream and then go. You've got to have it already. You've already got to have it all set up in orientation first. But that could have changed because it's been a bit. I've been on my iOS now. Yeah, Doug, I was just thinking the same thing. I've just got to charge up my Pixel to check that out, but my Pixel's totally flat. I can't even look. But yeah, no, I thought, I mean, I've definitely live streamed horizontally from my mobile before. Let's have a look here. Our watching this is getting you to your goal. Yes, it is. Absolutely it is. Thank you. And so SMA Sky says for his 24/7 screens, it's slowly increasing the subscriber count. And I get people who watch the replays and who do watch my shorts and things like that, and they do increase the watch time, but not the watch time, the subscriber count. But I will say the majority of my subscribers are coming from my long form content. Stanley says, also helps to make your live stream consumable after they are no longer live. That is excellent advice and is 100% true. Because people, there's a couple of schools of thought of people. So there are some people who go, oh, I missed that live stream. Usually I try to watch the lives and I love it. I'll watch the replay. But there are people out there who are like, oh, it's a live replay. I am so not watching that. And you've got to cater to both. Some people will only watch a live stream if it's live. They have no interest in a replay. So break down your tidbits, turn them into content. They don't have to be shorts. And you can do it in Opus Clip as horizontal content. I have a video over on my Fiberific live stream channel, well, my Fiberific channel over there. Again, predominantly a live streaming channel, where I had a section. I had a section where I talking head to the camera right at the start. It was a really important piece of information. So I dropped that section like at the start. So I didn't have to drop the whole live stream over into Opus. So just choose the minutes, drop them in. And it created my horizontal, I think it was about 8 minutes. I trimmed it down to about 5 of a video. And I got to have, you can choose whether you have your captions or not. I left the captions in. And it created a 5-minute video for me out of a live stream. And it was great. And so, if you've got access to these tools, you need to go and have a look at it. You really do. You need to look at your options because not everybody wants to make shorts. And I get that. I do. I'm not the biggest fan of shorts myself. Shorts bring in some viewers. They don't always bring in your proper audience because of just the nature of the short scroll. But you may actually get someone that you weren't expecting as well. Let's have a look here. Livestream consultant says I checked on 2 different Android phones and neither one would stream to Facebook in landscape. Not sure why. Oh, there you go. Oh, hang on. You said Facebook. I was thinking YouTube. I haven't tried to stream to Facebook in a long time. So, Home Rapid Repair says, my promise, you get cash when this channel has fan funding. I know the promise. I do. Very much. Thank you. And we're getting there. We're getting there. Little Crafty Nook says, Roberto Blake suggested last night that we need to up the shorts game to 2 a day if we want to do both. And that's the thing. And that end of that sentence says, if we want to do both. If you are going to make shorts, then make some shorts, right? Make short quality content, nuggets, full information. Let me know in the chat, how much do you love videos that go, oh, you'll need to watch part 2 to get the bit you actually came for. For those people, I'm actually like, I hate your channel now. I really do. Not so much if it was too much information for 3 minutes, right? That's a whole different thing. But if they just were like blathering and dragging it out because they want you to go and watch that second short, we're not stupid. We know what they're doing. And that ticks me off. SMA Sky says, that is something I've been doing lately with my live streams. When they end, I change the live text in the title to replay and replace the thumbnail. Yep. Sarah says, I tend to clip from my studio lives and turn them into shorts. It's slow, but I'm getting some growth from that. Excellent. Are you using Opus Clip? Like, I highly recommend Opus Clip for converting our live streams and our long form into shorts. It means that, like, how do I put this? I don't always get the video I want to start with. I look at it and go, well, they missed this bit and they missed this bit and I want all this other stuff. But it gives me a good solid starting point and you can add it all in. One thing I did though was I didn't even realize I'd done it. I was testing out some of the B-roll feature, and I clicked save, which is what I usually do when I am making shorts. I didn't realize if you add in their additional B-roll, you actually have to export it rather than save. And I was like, oh, I didn't get any of that B-roll. Oh, well. And then I realized later what I'd done. I was like, oh, well, that was a picnic error right there, but it was still perfectly fine without the B-roll. Stanley says, I just have the option to stream horizontal, just defaults to vertical. I'm on Android. So maybe it's a Facebook thing. Yeah, I think it's a Facebook thing. Facebook do some weird stuff with live streaming. Like, also, don't expect your live streams to be there in 30 days. Facebook doesn't save them anymore. Yeah, I agree. Shorts are good for exposure, but the numbers are highly inflated and nowhere near what you assume. So, like a little while back, YouTube decided to cave to the complainers and the whingers who don't actually understand how analytics work and how good data works. And they cave to the whole, we want the YouTube views to be counted the same as TikTok views. And you're just like, oh, really? Okay, cool. So that's now a meaningless stat. You actually have to go in and look for the engaged viewers, which is what the old one was, where they've watched it for more than like a slow swiping second. So basically now your front end views on a short are basically impressions, and impressions don't mean anything without some watch time. So yeah, but yeah, let's have a look here. Little Crafty Nook says, absolutely, she's using and loves Opus Clip. I love Opus Clip. Sarah says, I use Opus Clip for the ideas and then do the editing myself in DaVinci. I don't, why, like, they've got a timeline editor now. Why are you doing it that way? I'm just curious. I know, and I know that Opus will directly send it into your editor now, and I get that as well. I'm just curious as to why you do it that way. Because I understood it when it was just when you only had the text editing option, but now you've got full timeline editing option and you can move things around and stuff. I found that the Opus Clip captions weren't accurate enough, and by the time how long ago was that? Because I will say that there's been a lot of changes in the last few months in Opus Clips. A lot. And like, my thick Australian accent, it used to really struggle with. Not so much now. Like barely at all now. Let's have a look here. Yeah, those couldn't have said that better myself, Chantelle. Those views on shorts are largely inflated, empty impressions. Absolutely. It is now meaningless. That stat is now a meaningless stat. If you think those are views, you are wrong. They are not views, they are impressions. Let's have a look here. Sarah says this was late 2024. I would give it another burl. I would give it another try. There've been a pile of updates go through since then. So yeah, I would definitely give it another try. Oh yeah, Facebook don't care at all. Don't expect them to, yeah. Small creators, all they want is the big creators. And that's, yeah. And even then, they're not that helpful. I'm working with what I would consider to be a large creator on Facebook, and Facebook are not helpful. Like, as in, they've got 1.4 million followers on that Facebook account, and it's still painful. It's still painful getting any help whatsoever. Oh gosh, you guys are terrible. Like, picking on crafters. This is not the place to pick on crafters, dudes. Read the room. This is not it. Let's have a look. And on the rare times I switch languages on stream, I always have to caption manually. It's hilarious watching. I actually wouldn't recommend switching languages during a stream. I think that like you need to be having a look into, yeah, I would not be switching languages midstream or mid-video ever. Unless you are teaching a language, you need to start with a language and continue on with it. There is no advantage and all disadvantage. If somebody comes in and jumps into a clip or a middle part of a stream where you're speaking in French or Welsh, they're going to assume the rest of that is in French or Welsh. And if they don't speak French or Welsh, they are not going to. But yeah, I mean, admittedly, there's a lot of English, like even in Australia, we have some French words like niche and quiche and things like that. They're technically our French words that we use. But I don't speak any French during it, if that makes any sense. I think Facebook is trying to get out. I agree with you. I think that they're working really hard to back right out of that. You don't usually do it, but it might be a few words. Yeah, I'd look. And if it's just a couple of words, then it's probably fine. But yeah, it's one of those things where you need to be cautious about, you need to be thinking about your audience. So yeah. It hated you. Oh yeah, you did. When you are manually editing tape. I used to edit audio, where you literally had to cut the tape and splice it. It was not good. Russell says, I actually know of at least one Australian that intentionally tries to speak American. And this is one of those things, like I know if I want to write a thumbnail or a title that I want it to specifically attract an American audience, I will use the American spelling of like putting Z's in instead of S's for like monetize and sympathize. We don't use Z's here in Australia or in English, but American English does. So if you want Americans to not try to correct your spelling, which I always think is hilarious, colour with a U is Australian and English, whereas colour in American English has no U in it. So those sorts of things, and like using trash can and sidewalk rather than bin and footpath, you know, like using the words that Americans associate. So if you have a predominantly American audience and you're trying to attract them as a viewer, you need to be utilizing the language that they understand. And so I understand why some people from other countries do this. I mean, I do it on occasion as well. And sometimes it comes down to, can I cope with being corrected 15 times for spelling fibre, F-I-B-R-E? Okay? Like, which is how it is spelled here. And in like England, like English, like UK English, which is England, which is where English came from, Australian English, you know, whereas American English doesn't. It's F-I-B-E-R. And, you know, it's, you know, yeah. Don't call soccer football. They ain't the same thing. We call, well, in America, because in the UK, football is soccer. And if you are talking oval-shaped balls, you are calling it by its AFL or NRL or what, like the actual proper league name, not just how it is. But yeah, it's one of those things. But you have to decide as the streamer, who is the audience that you are, or not just a streamer, but as a video creator trying to attract an audience. Who is the audience you are trying to attract? If you are trying to attract a predominantly American audience, will it kill you to write in American English? Now, I sometimes forget and I'll switch between the two. And so it does look like I'm making mistakes because technically I am. If I'm going with Australian English or UK English, then it needs to be spelled, all of it needs to be spelled in this way. So the whole description, the title, what's in the thumbnail. If I'm going with American English, again, it needs to go through all those things. And so, you know, you have to think about it from a broader picture. Aluminium, absolutely. I mean, I know in America, like in Australia, I used to just take the mickey out of all Americans for saying aluminum. But then I found out they spell it aluminum. They actually spell it differently as well. So they spell it and say it differently. Whereas we say aluminium and we spell it aluminium. So, you know, it's one of those things. And it's a little bit different because it's spelt differently as well. So like, whereas like monetize, it's said the same. And we have an ISE in Australia and in the UK, and it's an IZE in American English. So yeah, it's a bit different. It's a bit funny. But you just have to decide which audience are you trying to attract. If you want to attract Americans, you use American English, because most other countries can translate around, and I really hate to say it, but the American English speakers don't like to do it. It's the same with crafters, right? There is crochet language that is the UK crochet language that Australia mostly adopted. And then there's the American crochet language. Now, unfortunately, they do use a lot of the same words, but they mean different things, which is really perplexing. Most people from outside of the US can switch between all the different crochet languages, but Americans don't seem to. So they're like, you've just done it wrong. It's like, no, you just need to translate it. And they're like, but no, you've just done it wrong. And so it's one of those things where it's a mindset shift between different countries as well. Little Crafty Nook says, I have a Canadian friend who moved to Australia tons of years ago, and he spells everything the Australian way because he lives in Australia and he writes Australian. Sarah says, I learned the hard way that most US Americans don't know what a toque is. I had to Google what a toque was as well. It's a very Canadian word. So in Australia, it's a beanie. I don't know what it's called in the US, but we call it a beanie. I suppose you can look at your viewer data and see what should be used. Absolutely you can. It's not a guessing game. You can absolutely go in and you can look at where the majority of your views are coming from. And you can make that decision from there. And you can also decide, okay, like right now I'm getting a lot more Australian viewers, but I really want those US viewers. How do I get US viewers? And it's the same, it's exactly the same as when you're speaking to Indian creators or creators from non-English speaking countries, when they're like, well, I want American viewers. It's like, well, you need to use English in your thumbnails, in your titles, and you need to speak English in the videos. It's the same deal. If you want an audience from a particular country, you have to have it in that language for them to be able to read it, no matter which country it is. Let's have a look here. Well, I mean, in Australia, we haven't banned them all. There are still a couple that you can get, but nothing that fires a lot. I'm cautiously using terms, but yes. And you must get a license for it. So yeah. And oh, look, do you know what, Sarah Dawn? I realized that in Australia, there were things here that I would talk about that I had no idea were Australian only. And it wasn't until I started talking to people outside of Australia that I realized, oh, wait a second, that either means something else or is meaningless to somebody else. Because we all live in the context of our existence. So if you are only, if you're only putting yourself into a position where it is people just like you in your same country, in your same industry, then you will be in a smaller bubble. But if you push through the bubble and broaden yourself out a little bit, you can understand more. And you understand where that, and you can make a decision of whether or not you're happy in that bubble. So when you understand more about the broader picture, you're like, no, actually, this is where I need to be. This is the good spot for me. And then you can pull back in and focus on this one thing. But if you don't understand the rest of it and you don't understand where you are in the context of existence, then you can't learn more and you can't broaden that bubble because you're just trying to make that same bubble bigger. You're not trying to step outside of the bubble. So it doesn't always work. I don't know if that analogy worked at all. Let me know in the chat. Oh, toque. I see. That's the thing. Did I say toque? I might have said toque, but it might be toque. But either way, it's not a thing here. So, but yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's all. That's fine. Little crafty nook. I could have just skipped over it entirely. Geez, we get onto some interesting topics sometimes, don't we? We really do go down little rabbit holes of. Every now and again, someone will try to, like I'll hear Doug describe my live streams, like in his Saturday night stream or Saturday morning stream for a lot of you, and sometimes he'll describe it in a way, and Doug, I know you're meaning well and you are describing what it is, but every now and again I'm a bit like, oh, am I really that amby-pamby and it's so not, anything focused? And that's a me taking it in, and it's true. It is true. But we do go on these journeys together where we will go in and talk about what it is that you talk about in the chat, where we will cover those things. And yeah, it's and it is. We do rabbit hole. We absolutely do. It is 100% true. But I didn't realize, like, when someone's trying to describe what happens in this live stream, that it's actually a hard thing to describe, because it's not like we just talk about this one thing, which is ideally what you want to do. It's not what we do. Yeah, that is the fun part, right? Like, you come to this stream and we may start on one topic, but where we end, nobody knows. Nobody knows. Yeah, me vague. Yeah, total vague. Total vague. But yeah, it's one of those things where sometimes getting somebody else's honest impression of what you do and it doesn't match up with your own brain, and then it makes you realize, hang on a second, your brain is actually not in the right spot about it. And making it so somebody else could describe what you do is actually really important to be able to do. Yeah, possibly, Russell. Possibly. But yeah, it's I always find these conversations super interesting, and I walk away from them thinking about stuff. And I really hope that you do as well, that you walk away going, oh, I hadn't considered that, or I didn't think about that, or I didn't see it that way. And I try to say, like, with a lot of things, there's no right or wrong way to do it. There's just how you decide to do it. But when we make our decisions in how to do something, there's also consequences to those decisions. Like how I predominantly live stream on this channel, the consequence of that is slow growth in watch time and subscribers, and that is the consequence. So I understand that fact, and I know that if I went and made more VOD, because I do have successful VOD on this channel. Like, I've got a VOD, like I've got that managing moderator VOD is a prime example. I'm just going to the dashboard because I don't know exactly where it's at right now. But if I look at that VOD, so look at my channel subscribers is 660 odd, and my managing moderator video has 35,000 views. So I know how to make a video. My verify your channel video is 10,000 views. So if you pick the right video for your audience, it can work. But when you stick with the live streaming and just drive it in, and we're only live streaming, it narrows it right down to people that are available at that exact moment, who care about what it is that you say you're going to be talking about, or the thumbnail that you make, and that actually like live streams. So you're really narrowing the funnel a lot more than people who might want to verify a YouTube channel or understand a managing moderator tool. I'd really love to be able to make a follow-on from the managing moderator tool video to go, it's on desktop. I can't yet. I can't, because it's not. Let me see. Russell says, still say there may be a bit more than tea in those Yetis sometimes. No, unfortunately, this is just me. I'm just a lot. That's a new chat command coming for next week. Oh, Oh dear. Little Crafty Nook says, I wish more people felt that way. Uh-oh, Chris is sending stuff already. Gosh. Chris, you're a legend. After these live streams, Chris from Livestream Consultants will quite often be like, hey, let's have a new GIF. And he sends me the actual thing, like the new GIF for Soapbox he made and put it up on Jiffy because that's where I can get them from for here, and so that we can use it. And Chris made that. So and the coffee time for when somebody does the old buy me a coffee, the coffee time song is something that Chris sent me as well. So Russell says it takes courage to choose what you love to do over producing content to gain vanity numbers. That's the Doug, that's the one. And it does. It does. And sometimes, and I'm not going to lie, sometimes I wish that the numbers were better. I do, but not enough to change what I'm doing. And so, you know, like I'll be talking to people and I'll be, you know, aiming to work with a client, and then they look at my channels and they go, oh, well, your channels are only this, so you can't prove to us that you can do this. And you're like, well, but I've worked on these other channels. And they're like, yeah, but your channels are this. And so it's hard when people assume your worth based off these numbers. And that's usually the time that it affects me the most. I personally love what we have here. I love this community. I love that we can talk about things, that new people come in and they feel comfortable enough to ask their questions, because that's the thing as well. I've been in live streams where I've asked a question and I got piled on for asking a question. And I don't want that here. I want people to feel comfortable to ask whatever questions about YouTube and live streaming they have. I may not have the answer. Somebody in the chat might have the answer, but I may not have it. Or maybe none of us have it because it's a new problem, but we can all go down the rabbit hole and find out together. But to me, that's more important than having a massive channel where I can't help anybody. In saying that, there are ways, like all we got to do is look at Nick Nimmin, right? Prime example of how you can have a big channel and still help people every week. So there's things that you can do. There's things that you can change and you can do differently to have both. I just haven't done it. Let's have a look here. Oh, all your editing's done. That's fantastic. Oh, I'll definitely check those for the rabbit hole command. Russell says, the numbers reflect your choices. If you choose to produce a 1 million view video, you have all the resources. One call to Daryl would likely to do it. And that's the thing, right? I mean, I can't see me calling Daryl for a start, but you're right. The choices that I have made on this channel are what we have. And these are the choices I have made knowingly and going in knowing it. And it is a path that I've chosen. I'm looking to change that path up a little bit, sort of after Vid Summit. I'm going to be tweaking some stuff, like when I've got a bit more time on my hands, and having a look at some things. And maybe you won't notice any of the changes, but there'll be changes on my end, or maybe you will notice changes. I don't know. But Russell's 100% right. The numbers reflect your choices. And there are consequences to your choices every single time. You don't get to just do a fun live stream where you go down rabbit holes and expect a massive audience. It doesn't work that way. It never has. And can't see it ever working that way. But having the options to get somewhere a bit more in the middle, that might be nice. Sarah says, and I learn a lot here, probably because you're so approachable. I do try to be approachable. I do try to be approachable. And Little Crafty Nook says she is absolutely approachable. Yeah. You mean you're going to interview Nick? I don't think I could get Nick awake at this time of the morning for him. Like, he's in Thailand. It's 3 hours earlier. It'd be like, hey, Nick, do you want to be up at 6 a.m.? I think that's a hard no. I really do. I think that might be a hard no. I don't know. And I've never considered interviewing Daryl. I don't. He's a very, very busy man. I can't imagine. All I can do is ask, but I can't imagine he would ever say yes. So he's got many, many options that are not me. Russell says, based on the number of smiles and the giggles this format works for you, life isn't about making the numbers. And look, that's what basically goes through my head every time. Being able to have these conversations and help people and do it in a way where I'm comfortable. I'm a very, very nervous. I don't know if nervous is the right word, but I'm a very nervous person. When I'm put in unknown situations, I really like to pre-prepare a lot. And when I'm not comfortable, I don't feel like I can articulate as well. For a start, my stutter kicks in. And so keeping that in control is a really big thing. And I've worked out that when I get flustered, it gets worse. So I try not to, especially on a live stream, I try not to put myself in those positions. In saying that, I really do miss the live interviews that we used to do, and I love doing the collabs with Doug. It's just a whole different level of thing that we can do. Although you'd love to be on a fly on the wall for that particular request. I don't know. It's one of those things. I don't feel like it would be appropriate for me to ask. And then other people are like, all you can do is ask. It's like, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I honestly don't know the answers. Wait until you get a chance to have Mexican meal with Doug and Chantelle. It's a hoot. Yeah, we had a lot of fun last year at Vid Summit doing it. I have got so much FOMO over Vid Summit this year. I just couldn't swing it. And last year, I was really nervous about going. When they told me they were sending me over, I thought it was wrong. I didn't tell anyone for ages that they'd told me I was going. Other than my husband. My husband knew, and I had to make sure I had all my paperwork and stuff all lined up on my end. But I was so like, no way, they're not going to send me over. And I'd only been working with them for a few months, so I didn't really even know any of the team that I was working with and things like that. So, whereas this time round, I've got all of you guys for a start, which I had last year at Vid Summit, but having all of you guys and meeting you all was so amazing. And then now I've been working with the team for like over a year now. I think I've been with them. It was a year at the beginning of September. So just over a year. No, it can't have been September. It must have been July, middle of June or July. And so it's been just over a year now. And so I really miss the fact that I could get to hang out with the people I've been working with for a year. It feels very different. And there's so many cool panels and workshops, and there's whole extra stages open, and like there's so much going on at Vid Summit this year. And Linus is going to be there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's like Linus Tech Tips and Good Mythical Morning, so Rhett and Link from Mythical, they are my top two creators. And Hank Hank Green, obviously, top three. And I've met Hank Green, and I karaoke'd with Hank Green. And I don't know if he remembers that. I remember it. Because he's friends with a friend of mine, and I was able to be the tag along, and it was wonderful. But now I was like, I'm like looking at this and I'm like, man, I could have actually been in the same room as Linus. Like, I mean, a big room with like thousands of people in the audience, but I could have been in that room. And I'm not. And so it's a bit like, oh, and I don't know which is worse. Like, actually, I know exactly what's worse. Not seeing everybody. That's worse than missing out and getting to see like Linus on stage. That's definitely, because it's not like I'd get it like a one, you know, I get to be in a small room. I'm not in that part of the company. But like missing everybody, that's the hard part for me. And like Doug, I think it was Doug this week, we were talking, it was just like, we'd be leaving next weekend if we were going. We'd be like getting stuff organized. But yeah, so it's like, oh man, it's really starting to smack me in the face that I'm not going. Little Craft Nook says, I have a couple of real super fans in my lives and it meant so much. Yeah. This is actually a fantastic point to make. Would you be wasting his time or would you capitalize on the opportunity? And that's the thing. I would need to make sure if I was going to go in and do this, which I'm probably not, but if I was going to, it would be in with a very clear plan that we could tweak and change together, because you don't want to waste people's time. So like when I have Justin on, we have a discussion, we know what we're going to be talking about. So I've got screen shares ready. I've got everything ready. I would treat it the same way. Absolutely. Admittedly, Justin and I are friends, so it's a lot more relaxed, but yeah. Sarah says, oh, that's fair if you're not comfortable asking, but the image view, asking Nick Niven at 3 a.m. his time makes me snick. I know, it kind of makes me laugh because every week I'm over in his live chats modding, and it's like during summer it'll be from midnight to 3 a.m. every week. But yeah. Yeah, like same deal. And like Renee Ritchie is another one. He is so exceptionally busy, and I just wouldn't want to. I'm that person. I don't like to impose on people, and like I feel like I'm wasting their time even with an email. You know, I know that mindset is wrong. I understand that, and I need to give people the opportunity to say yes. and I truly get that, but getting past that hurdle of myself is also fun. A Little Craft Nook says, it was so fun seeing Chantelle. It was so fun seeing you all, honestly. And I just want to point out that Chris is ridiculously tall. So Livestream Consultants is so very tall. And Larry is just the funnest person to hang out with. And so is Doug. But Doug is also very tall. Larry, I always feel like I'm the shortest person in the room, but Larry made me feel like a normal height person because he's only like a little bit taller than me. So, yeah. Besides, you have his book in the background. Oh, yeah. I'm sure they'd agree if the schedules matched up, but I totally get it. Look, and that's the thing, right? Like, if you go in, and this is where I say, do as I say, not as I do. If you have somebody who is in your niche and in your field and who you really look up to, if you reach out to them. Ask them the question. The worst they can do is come back and say no. That's the worst thing, right? That they could come back and say no. And I, like when I was doing my regular streams, I had a couple come back and say no. And then I had some surprising ones that said yes, which I was a bit shocked about. But so be it. So you just don't know. You don't know where people are at. There's plenty of people I would love to have on as a guest, and maybe instead of doing everything live so that it suits me, maybe doing some pre-recorded things. But I just think the live is so much better because you get to involved. Anyway, that's where my brain are. Because I have multiple brain. Oh my gosh. Yes, we are giants. My younger brother is 3 inches taller than me. Oh my gosh. Like, does he like scrape doorways? Like, you guys are pretty tall. My younger brothers are taller than me. My brothers are 6 foot tall. Yeah, cracks me up. All right, my friends, I'm starting to bake in here and I'm feeling it. So I'm going to catch you all here next. Amazing Yacht Destinations. We're just winding up. It's so good to see you though. Thank you so much for jumping in. But yeah, so I'm going to catch you all here next week. Hopefully, so keep an eye out for that. I've got to double check some stuff. I really want to say next week, but I just got to check some commitments for Vid Summit, because while I'm not at Vid Summit, I'm still doing some stuff for Vid Summit behind the scenes from here. So I will know by the end of the week either way. So keep an eye out. Russell says, it's not wrong to be leery of asking if their expectation was you were looking to build your channel at a rate they could contribute to. But if it's a chat with 9 people, you are likely wasting time. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you just don't know. You just don't know. And I think you have to make some sort of value. And that's where I'm at. I'm like, I don't see where I can, like, I would love to have a conversation with these people. And that's a really selfish part of it from me. I want that value. But that's not value to the guest. And you need to create value for our guests. So that's where I'm stuck at. So we'll see. Oh my gosh, they are very tall. Very, very tall. Alrighty, my friends. I will catch you all here, hopefully next week, if not the week after. And I hope you all have a fantastic week. Look into trying something new, whether it's grabbing some shorts from your live streams, whether it's making a 5-minute VOD in vertical from your live stream. Opus has got all that in there. If you haven't used Opus, I think I've got a link in below. I may not have, but they've got a sale on now, so keep an eye on that as well. But yeah, there's a lot that you can do. And it's all going to come down to, whether you want to do it and what effort you want to put into it. So it's all on you. Russell, your webinar launch, I hope it goes fantastic. And I want an update next time. So you'll have to let me know once you're being human after it. Let me know. Alrighty, my friends, I will catch you all next time. Bye now.